I recently just got a Twitter account, and I know what you're saying. I've missed the hype train. It has been going downhill since the takeover by Elon Musk. I know there's alternatives like Blue Sky, like Mastodon that are becoming super popular, but I wanted a place where I can, get more software engineering news, like up to date live news. And Twitter is still the biggest platform for this kind of information besides like YouTube. And on Twitter, there's a feature called communities, which is similar to Facebook groups, if you ever remember those. And communities are essentially groups of people focused on one topic. So I joined some that are about software engineering, some about C programming, some about Java. They have strict rules on what tweets you can make and not make inside of those communities, but essentially they're focused on just like this one topic. And I kept all of mine towards software engineering, and my entire feed was software engineers. But one trend I noticed going crazy was vibe coding. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you. But to do that, let me show you one of the most popular things I saw on my feed. Looking at this playing game, you might be wondering, is this a new game created by an indie dev trying his feet in the water, trying to create a new project, trying to learn? Or is it a new student, maybe someone on the younger side trying to become a game dev themselves? But not exactly. This is a project made by a prolific vibe coder, made in a matter of hours, for the sole reason of making a profit. When starting up the game, you're instantly presented with an option to purchase an F-16 for this game for $29.99. That's more than some games cost, some full AAA games on sale. So this brings me back to the main question. What is vibe coding? It's the process of using AI to generate a project as quickly as possible with the least amount of effort on your end to then quickly turn it around and make a profit. And I know some vibe coders actually do this to solve their own problems and not push a profit. However, there's a large vocal group that's their only goal. Like this vibe coder flexing on all of us peasants from first class while making a project using Claude. Turns out it was a calorie tracking app that he was going to charge $19 a month for until he was called out for it, and then was going to charge $49 until quote unquote the beta ends. And that previously mentioned rudimentary airplane game, it generates around $67,000 a month, majority of which is from advertising, as you can see from the blimps and other objects around in the game. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with trying to make a product, market it, and then try to make a profit, even if it's with AI. The problem is, with vibe coding and vibe coders, they don't maintain their projects, and I fear that they might not be able to maintain their projects. Fly Peter is nearly unplayable. I run a 3070 and I experience bug after bug, crash after crash. Basic game mechanics that would probably take 5 minutes of research and probably 5 minutes of implementations, like collisions, don't work. My assumption is that the game got too out of hand and the AI is no longer able to fix these bugs. And since this game was vibe coded and only made through AI prompts, he most likely doesn't understand the codebase well enough to fix this, and he's also not an experienced game dev to understand how to resolve these bugs quickly. And that is completely fine. I am not a game dev either, and I would love to make a video game, but I don't think vibe coding is the process to make any long-term project. You will no longer be able to maintain your own code. You aren't learning anything new, and your product is going to suffer in the end. The success of Fly Peter, other vibe coding projects came out, like this tank game, and it's riddled with even more bugs and even more problems. Funny enough, an experienced game developer noticed that every time a tank shoots, it grabs the audio file from the server every single time instead of caching it on local. And initially, to someone without experience, it might not sound that bad, but with a little bit of research and a little bit of work and learning, you'd realize that is a very inefficient method and you should instead cache the sound on the machine. To continue on, none of these projects are open source. We can't even take a look at how they're implemented. There's very little open source contribution made by these projects. Instead, it really is a goal of only monetizing. I actually tried asking for a GitHub repo from one of these projects, and I got ghosted. It wasn't from specifically Fly Peter or any of the projects I showed here, but there has been no GitHub repo, no links that I can find to see what the quality of the source code actually is. And that also brings up the question of security for these vibe-coded SaaS apps. We can't take a look at the source code. We don't know if the developers of these vibe-coded apps actually know best security practices. And I think that's my main gripe with vibe coding. It's because code is seen as a nuisance, as an obstacle to overcome to push a product and make as much money as possible. There isn't any passion or love for the code or the implementation of the product. And that's not every vibe coder. I'm sure that the majority actually want to learn from this code. But a lot of that is overshadowed by trying to churn out as many products as quick as possible. And ironically, one of the most successful vibe-coded projects I found was a course on how to code. And maybe I'm just too obsessed with code and computers and am jealous of all of the profits that these people are able to make. But I disagree with the vibe coding mentality of disregarding the code and the process and trying to just optimize and push out products as quick as possible. But that's ironic coming from me since I'm a vibe video maker. Though if you like this video, and before I get flexed on by thousands of vibe coders making tens of thousands of dollars more than me, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.